continue with the legal steps which are required in order to start a company. Just let me allow these guys in, couple of them. Yep. So as I was mentioning earlier, there are a couple of legal steps and procedures in order to incorporate a company. So you go ahead and you have to get your company registered at the MCA portal, which is Ministry of Corporate Affairs portal. So in order to register a company, there are a couple of things which you have to keep in your mind. One is that director identification number for the particular candidate who's applying has to be allotted. So let us say anybody is going ahead and registering a company, right? The person who's registering should go ahead and identify himself as a director of the company. So once he identifies himself as a director of a company, he goes ahead and identification number is being generated, and so he becomes they get a DIN number. In other words, you basically get a DIN number, and that DIN number will be associated with the company you're going to register with. Once that is done, obviously the other step is that name reservation. So the name which you are selected doesn't get default, doesn't be allotted as a default to you, right? So what they do is they go ahead and check the name, whether the name is already been taken by some other company or any trademark has been filed with that name. So things like that are being evaluated before our name is being allotted to you guys, for the company, more or less. Then file for incorporation, right? So once the name is allotted, you go ahead and this will be the final step in which your company is being incorporated. An official address is given to it, an official seal, and other things are associated to it. So the way this procedure is done, and now everything is being converted into an electronic format. So a spice form is being generated. So a CS goes ahead and puts in these details, and a spice form is generated. So this spice form is basically an electronic version of the registration document, which will be done. So the next step is that Startup India, as the government has taken a major step in order to help startup ecosystem grow and help entrepreneurs do their job. So they went ahead and they started these portals like Startup India and etc., where in which if a founder is interested, can go ahead and register himself as a startup. If he registers himself as a startup, the entire year, whatever money they make is completely having a tax break. So they don't have to pay any tax if they identify themselves as a startup. And obviously there are some other special benefits wherein which you get mentorship support and some regulations. There are some certifications and regulations which you have to follow. Those can be exempted to you, and this obviously can go and register in the portal of startupindia.gov.in, right? And GST is an optional. If your turnover is not more than 20 lakhs, you don't have to do it. And some other things are MSME schemes and other things which you can go ahead and take. Ethical and legal best practices for a founder is that in cases of ethics, right? It's very situational and it's very vague and it's very optional. But some of the few main things which we have to keep in mind is that wherein which we don't misuse the funds. If a founder receives a grant from the central government or state government, they should there's a agreement which is done between the state entity and the startup. So it's our responsibility as a founder that we don't go ahead and use this fund for other than developing our product or for our personal sustenance, right? So, and obviously data and ethics, that is one concern, because because most of the products and services are in the digital era, are digital, right? So these products, obviously we should make sure that we state our policies perfect, privacy policies, wherein which the customer data is not being exploited. A bit transparency is given to the co-founders and investors, so that basically whenever you are trying to pitch, right, don't go and oversell it, right? There is no requirement of overselling it. And